What's up, everybody? This is Brendan. I'm a full stack developer based in Brooklyn, New York. Today, I'm going to be walking you through the solution for Pizza Planet. We are going to be talking about modules. Remember, a module is just another word for an app. When you use AngularJS, you need to create this over-encompassing app in which we're going to put all of the different parts of our app inside of it. We're going to be putting our controllers inside of it. We're going to be putting a bunch of different AngularJS directives. Remember, a directive is just another word for a part of a library. So we're going to be using a bunch of different parts of the AngularJS library. Controllers are where we're going to store our data. And then we're going to render that data in our view, aka our HTML files, using expressions. Remember, there's also these things called filters, which are built into AngularJS. And what a filter does is it takes that data that you want to dynamically render in the view, and we pipe it through, we filter it through one of these filters, and it actually formats the data differently. And then the big thing today is we're going to be using the power of ng repeat directive. This is the bread and butter of AngularJS. Using the ng repeat directive, we don't have to repeat ourselves. There's no more hard coding. A good example I can think of right now is Netflix. Remember, you log into Netflix, you see all of your shows. All of the shows have their own little box labeled with, the name of the show as well as how many episodes maybe and a picture. And they're not hard coding all of those different boxes. You'll notice that they all use the same format. And we can do the same thing using the ng repeat directive. It's basically just like a for loop. We pass the ng repeat directive a list of objects, probably data, data for our Netflix show or each Netflix show. It's basically a list of Netflix shows. And we say for each one, use this chunk of code and render this HTML. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're not going to be talking about Netflix. We're going to be talking about what? Pizza Planet. All right, so let's begin. Pizza Planet wants to create an AngularJS app for their restaurant's menu. Here's what it looks like. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Very nice, very clean. I like the design. The menu displays the restaurant's appetizers, mains, and extras. Step 1. Create a new module named Pizza Planet App in JSApp.js and then attach it to the body element in the view. Okay, so this is just the standard. How do we begin within AngularJS project? We have to create a module first. So var app equals angular.module. The first argument is the name of the app, Planet, in that quotes. And then we're not going to really talk about this second argument, but just put an empty bracket there for now. Okay, and save that. All right, so that part is done. Why are we still, is this, whatever. Okay, so let us look at the body. And so we did half the battle. Now it's time to use the ng app directive and say, all right, we are ready to use AngularJS. Give us access to all of these parts of the AngularJS library. We have to pass the ng app directive, which we've attached to the body element in our HTML. We're going to pass it the name of the app, Pizza Planet app. Save that, and step 1 is done. Step 2, modify the controller. There's currently a property called scope.appetizers containing an array of 2 objects. Add a third object with the following values. Okay, so let's go to our controller, and I can see that it's already set up for us. And it says that we want to add another object to our appetizers property on our scope. So let's do that. And actually, this is how things are being currently rendered in our project. Although, why? I don't want to see the finished product. That's interesting. Oh, I can go back. Yes, this is what we're working with. All right. Okay, so let's add this other object. I'm just going to copy and paste this stuff. And I forgot to put it in some brackets. So you can see that this is pointing to an array of objects. Description. And this is not a variable. This is a string. This is also a string, so we have to put it in quotes. Oh, but look, it goes to here. Okay, so it's got a name, description, and a price, lowercase p, because that's how we've set up the other objects, it looks like. All right, comma, price, $4.95, and this is the end of the object. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's save that. Okay, step 2, attach the controller to the div class main element. Let's go over to our view. Now that we have this data stored in our controller, we need a way to say, hey, index.html, you can actually have access to this information now. So ng controller directive, and we're going to pass it the name of controller, and this is hooking up our controller to our view. Now our view is like, all right, yep, I can see it now. I am currently I currently hooked up to the main controller. So let's save that. Okay, step 3, display the data in the view. Inside div class appetizer row, use the ng repeat to loop through the appetizers array. Display each appetizer's name, description, and price using expressions. Use the currency filter to format an appetizer's price. Let's find the div with the class of main. Div with the class of appetizer. Appetizer row, okay. Use the ng repeat directive to loop through the appetizers. Okay, so ng repeat, pass it a string, and we need to look and see what the object that we're going to iterate over is named. So attached to our scope is this property called appetizers. So what are we going to do? We're going to iterate over each appetizer in appetizers. Okay, so now this will give us access to each individual appetizer, and then with that we can just say, using expressions, let's render the name of each appetizer in this h3 HTML tag, the description, and the price. But remember, step 2, use the currency filter. So add that pipe here that represents we want to use the filter, and say, all right, use the currency filter. Save that and see what happens. Nothing. Interesting. Very interesting. Main controller, ng app, ng repeat, appetizer in appetizers. And a crucial mistake that I just realized I made was, hopefully you guys caught it at home, you need to use double curly braces when you're using expressions in AngularJS. So let's add another pair of curlies. Save it, and voila, there's our new item, bruschetta, grilled bread, garlic, tomatoes, olive oil. I am really hungry. All right, so we've got that out of the way. Step 3 is done. Step 4, view the results. Okay, that was an easy step. Step 5, in the controller, add another property called scope.mains containing an array of 3 objects. Feel free to use your favorite foods. All right, so go over here to our main controller, and I'm just going to copy appetizers for now. We call it mains, and what could I go for right now? I go for a slice of pizza for sure. I could also go for some juice served with juicy juice. And man, honestly, this sounds weird, but I could definitely go for some escargot. But I don't know how to spell that, so I'm going to say a donut. Bread, yes. Fried bread. Fried bread. Okay, save that. Right. Step 6, in the view, adapt the div class appetizer row element to create a div class mains row element. Loop through the mains and display each item using expressions and filters. View the result in the browser. Okay, what that means is we need to take our div here, copy and paste that, and instead of iterating through appetizers, we're going to say iterate over each main in the mains array, and let's just replace main or appetizer with main. Look at that. And how many lines of code did we just change there? We copied and pasted from above, and we changed the ng repeat to not iterate over appetizers, but iterate over the objects in mains. And it all rendered perfectly without us having to change much at all. All right, step 7. In the controller, add another property called scope.extras containing an array of 3 objects. Feel free to use your favorite sides. Okay. Extras, cookie, cheese, it's, I think that's how you spell it. Don't kill me if I'm wrong. And what else? What is my last side going to be? A nice kale salad. Wow, I'm so healthy. All right, and in step 8, in the view, loop through the extras and display each item. View the result. Okay, so let's just repeat what we did before. We're going to copy and paste this one, right? Copy and paste that. And let's iterate over each extra in extras. Extra. And we are done. Awesome. Let's actually label our menu. I'm noticing now that this has a nice label, so let's do the same here. Mains and extras. Oh my God, beautiful. What a beautiful menu. All right, so that's it for this project. We use the power of the ng repeat directive. What that does is it looks at whatever we pass it, the list of items. And for each item, we are labeling it as such. Let's look at this one. We're saying, all right, look at the appetizers in our scope. It goes, do I have an appetizers property attached to my scope? Yes, I do. All right, what do you want me to do with it? And we say, I want you to iterate over, using the ng repeat directive, each object in that appetizers list. And for each object, label that object that we're currently iterating over as appetizer. And it'll look at each individual item in that appetizers list and say, treating it named as an appetizer, grab that particular appetizer's name, description, and price, filter it to with this currency filter, and display it in our view. And that's what happens. And that is it, folks. I will see you in the next project and hopefully not stutter so much. Bye.